Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, February 16th, 2021, and I just wanted to bring you a little bit of news today. Um, Here where I live in Minnesota, it's 15 degrees below zero right now outside. You can kind of hear my radiator heating starting to ping and build up and get started. So it's very, very cold outside. As you can see, I'm wearing like a deeper, darker, almost plumish color purple. Today, across the nation in America, um, people are being asked to join together in solidarity and wear purple for the person that was killed last Tuesday, in the Buffalo Allina Clinic here in Minnesota. Um, an older gentleman went into the clinic and he hadn't been happy with the service at the clinic for quite some time, I guess, and had been complaining about it. And he went in and he did cause a lot of destruction, and several people went to the hospital. And one nurse that was there um, did not survive. She left behind a child and a husband. Also in the news, within the past week, there has been extreme temperatures and extreme weather, especially even here in Minnesota. As much as we're used to the cold and the snow, and sometimes it becomes so second nature, it's just like, what? It's not bad outside. uh, but we have had the longest stretch of Arctic type cold for this time of the year since the early 1900s. I just found that out the other day, which is pretty interesting. But it's only 15 below. It could be worse. Honestly, it could be worse. But, right now we are at temperatures colder than what it is in Alaska right now, which is pretty odd because in my mind I always considered Alaska to be the colder spot. But right now, here where I am, it's a little bit colder. But if you buy a car from Minnesota, you can be pretty sure that it will start whatever the weather, because these cars here are tough and they're built to start in the extreme temperatures. Also, in the state of Texas and some of the southern states, and going all the way up towards Maryland, they have had that Arctic blast, and they are having blizzard-like weather where they're getting a foot or more of snow. And when that happens in places where they're not used to getting all the snow and the ice, and they don't know how to drive on it, and they don't have the equipment that's ready to clear the roads. Like Minnesota, it snows, plow goes out, bam, they clear the roads. It doesn't last very long. But in those other places, they aren't really as used to that as we are here. So they are having some difficulties right now. They've had numerous power outages, blackouts. I think one friend of mine said that there had been about 50 blackouts in a day. Some people that I know were stuck at work. It's like, what do you do when that happens? What are you doing with your blackout? Hopefully people have taken heed to some of the things that I've said on my past videos, or just from personal experience in their own life, and prepared with things like flashlights, hand crank radio that's also a flashlight, and it has an emergency beacon on it. Paid $3 for this. It works great. You can get it at Radio Shack. You might be able to get it at a thrift store. I actually got this one at a thrift store, but I have seen them at Radio Shack. So, $3. And it's going to keep working. And you don't have to keep getting batteries. There's other flashlights like this. It's kind of like a really ridiculously bright little deal. I actually got it as a gift. and a gift bag for attending a volunteer luncheon. So that's a good, easy one that's nice and small. It has a magnet on the end. It's easy to slip in my pocket to make sure that I have a flashlight with me wherever I go. And then this Everready. It's pretty bright, as you can see. It's small. It uses 3 AAA batteries, but it is decent enough to put in the pocket, backpack, whatever you may need to do. And then my favorite is the Maglite Mini. When I used to do security work, this was a simple one that I could carry with me. I got it with a little holster that I could hook on my belt. You don't have to have a holster to hook it on your belt. You can slip it in your pocket. It pans out to a larger light, or you can pinpoint it and make it a smaller light. Very, very awesome flashlight. I've had this for 25 years. Good luck on finding this one. And then there's the regular size flashlights and other things that are out there. And if you ever watch any of the other prepper channels, they may talk about different flashlights, such as the Olight. Olight is supposed to be a really good tactical type of a flashlight. I don't have that one yet, and I would love to get that one so that I can add it to my collection and give it a try and see how well it works in different situations. You know, some other things to consider, like if you're out and about and you get stuck and you're out and you can't get back home, and you know, suppose you're at work and the power goes out and you have to wait until your replacement comes because you're an essential employee. Did you have like some little stash of emergency food, whether it be a granola bar, some packages of honey, or pack of ramen noodles or whatever? Do you have things in place where you can shelter in place where you are until you are relieved and able to go home? If you're out in your car, you should have like one of those old metal coffee cans. Fill it with some emergency supplies, like flashlight that will never die, Snicker bar or something like that you could, or the granola bar, or something that you can chew on, a little piece of a wool blanket, or some kind of materials that you can cover yourself up in and wrap yourself in, so that you can insulate yourself and be able to stay warm in the event that, you know, it's like crazy cold and you're stuck in the snow somewhere. At home, if your power goes out, if it goes out and comes on, it goes out and comes on, and the heat's not working, and the transformers or whatever may be out, and your water stops working, because you know you need your water doesn't just magically work on its own. It does connect to the power. When the power goes out, it kind of messes up everything. And if your power goes out 50 times a night, your food in your refrigerator is going to start to become a little bit questionable. So if you're wanting milk, I'd be careful about drinking milk that's in the refrigerator. But if you have like some powdered whole milk, you can buy that on Amazon, you know, at a reasonable price. Then you can always, if you have some water in the fridge in containers, you could always prepare you some milk, make you some coffee, especially if you have like a Keurig or something and you've got water filled up in the back part of it, then you're all set. You know, it's also good to have, you know, emergency essentials or whichever survival programs, foods, have a few containers of that. So you can make some oatmeal or some noodles or some soup or whatever. Some of the packaged meals that come from those emergency cases that look like they're in a big paint bucket are really calorie dense, but it's because it's made that way so that when you prepare it, you prepare that meal, you eat that one meal, you're eating about enough calories for the day. So you have your energy to be able to go through whatever you got to go through, shoveling yourself out of the snow or whatever you got to deal with. It's not made for you to sit down and eat like you're at Ponderosa or somewhere, taking your time, you know, having a 3-course meal. That one packet is the 3-course meal because it will have enough energy for you to go through the day. I just wanted to give those thoughts to you today in light of everything that's going on about being prepared for whatever situations that come up. And we have civil unrest and people that are doing the things that they are doing, not only in the nation but in the world right now. They think that they are justified in all the stuff that they're doing, so it doesn't matter what you're going to try to rationalize to them. They really believe that their actions are justified. So the best thing that you can do is be prepared. But I wanted to end this talk right now with a little scripture. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10 through 13. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. So, it's not about a flesh and blood thing, even though everybody wants to prepare like they're going to be jumping in a tank and going down the street. Yeah, maybe there will be some tanks or something going down the street at some point if people can't get things under control. Like last year when we had the riots here, the riots that began right here and kind of spread out across the nation around the world. In the end, there did end up being tanks here, but the things that started, it was on a spiritual nature, because we're not wrestling against flesh and blood. People see a bad thing happening and they react, and sometimes people have a difficult time of explaining why they're upset and they're hurt without hurting someone else. And so the actions from last year ended up hurting a lot of people. It ended up pretty much destroying my city. I was down Lake Street the other day and down West Lake Street the other day. And it's horrible to see all the taggings and the graffiti and how everything is tore up. And I miss my city being the way it used to be. It can be a really great place to be. But it's really a shame that people came from other places and did this and then went back to where they were from. And I know they did because, when you start seeing people lingering around first, trying to figure things out, people coming and taking pictures with cameras, and, I and the neighbors were like, what's going on? That's weird. And the next thing you know, stuff goes down. But when things go down, you either got to bug out or you got to bug in. You need to shelter in place or get out of that space and make some choices that are going to keep you and your family or your household safe. So, take care and remember that the best is still yet to come and that it's best to be prepared, even if it's something as small as a little flashlight that you could put in your pocket. Even if it's something as small as a sack of beans that you can store up. Nobody's saying that you have to have thousands of dollars and rooms full of toilet paper. Well, no. There's lots of other people that will need toilet paper and food and other resources as well. But take one step at a time, because the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. So take that one step and be prepared for the regular things that do come up every day. The power outages, the storms. Even if you're in Texas and you're not used to it being a snowstorm, it might be a good idea just to have a few things put back. Some parts of the country are having tornadoes right now in the winter. So, take care, prepare, and be good to yourself. And until next time, you have a great day.